What a beautiful day. It's warm. I don't like that. Have any of you ever had someone in your life that was a problem? Oh, you have? Oh, good, good. It's interesting how we look at situations in our life, whether it's our in-laws, our teenagers, our spouse, sisters, brothers. It seems like there's a number of people who actually can be in our lives and cause us a little bit of upset on occasion. Am I right? Yeah. So they're here for a reason. Hallelujah. Aren't you thrilled to hear that? They're in your life for a reason, and they're here to either bless you or have you bless them. They're here to help us to learn or discover something about ourselves and about our world, and that's kind of exciting, isn't it? I remember a time when I looked at my young son with much love, wishing I could run away from home. It's hard to do that when you're a single parent. So much easier if you have a partner. They can take over the role for a few days or a few hours or even a few minutes. But there's moments in our life when we look at the situations that surround us and it brings up a question. And we begin to wonder why it is that we've attracted something into our lives or why something is challenging us or causing us grief. And really, the situation itself is not the problem. It's how we think about it. Open your mind and receive. So when we begin to change our thinking, when we begin to look at the situation that we're in, and we tell ourselves, let me think about this from a new perspective, we can begin to see the other person in a new way, and we can begin to change the experience. Does that make sense? Yeah. So as we're going through our life, we might look at today, and some people will go outside today and go, wow, it's a nice warm day, it's fabulous, it's wonderful. The day actually isn't fabulous and wonderful. The day is the day. Some people will view it fabulous and wonderful, and some will view it as, oh, it's dreary or not sunny enough or still too cold or whatever, right? Who's right? Everybody, right? What I think about it is my experience, and so it is with our relationships. We look at our relationships and we tend to judge them as good or bad or this person's right and that person's wrong, and we come up with all of these descriptors, but the truth is that what I'm thinking about any individual is what creates the experience, so I want to shift my thinking. Easy? What do you mean, no? You're the one thinking your thoughts. Surely you can think a new thought. I had a wonderful experience with my mom. Did anyone ever have a challenging day with their mom besides me? Okay, a few of you, so you can relate. So I had a challenge with my mom, because see, my mom didn't love me. Anybody think their mom didn't love them? My daughter often tells me that. You don't love me because you didn't buy me this. No. So there's this experience that we can have, whether it's with our mom or our dad or a sister or brother or whoever, where we might not feel loved or we might not feel accepted or we might not feel whatever. What was interesting with my mom was that this carried on for many, many years, and I was probably somewhere in the area of 45 years old when I sat back one day and went, let me look at this in a new way. Because my mom was the biggest problem in my life, or so I thought. But the truth was, my thinking about my mom was the problem. So I began to see her in a new way, and I invite you to consider this when you're looking at shifting a relationship in your life. What I began to do with my mom is I began to look at her as Margaret, a woman who'd had a life. Not a very pleasant one by what I knew. And I began to see her in a different way. I began to have compassion for her. I began to see her not as, you know that Hallmark commercial that shows you what moms are supposed to be? Did anybody have one like that? Is anybody like that? What was interesting is when I took the mom label off and what I thought that was supposed to be, and began to see this woman who had a life and who who raised me, I know she did the very best that she could. I also knew in that moment that she did love me very much. And I didn't receive the love because of the way I thought. Right? Sometimes we can't receive because our mind is closed. What's this series called? Open your mind to receive. So I began to see her in a new light, and a very interesting thing happened. My mom and I get along very well now. A little echo. My mom and I began, hello, maybe she's in the room. Mom, you there? Echoing back at me. I began to see her in a brand new way, and our relationship changed. I began to accept her for a child of God. I began to see her as a woman with a life and a history, a woman who was doing the very best she could, and a woman who, when I really thought about it, someone I could admire, respect, and absolutely love. All that changed, there's only one thing that changed. Can you name it? Me. My thinking. So back to my son, who I mentioned earlier. My youngest son, when I thought about him often, I kept thinking, oh, I just so want to run away from home. Something happened. You see, I had everybody in my church praying for him because I really saw him as broken and flawed. And so I had them praying for him, praying that he would smarten up, praying that he would get with the program, praying that he'd be happy one day, praying that he would just get there. And one day I woke up and went, oh, shoot. Guess who needed to do the changing? Moi. So again, I had to open my mind to begin to see him for not who I wanted him to be, but rather who he was, and to begin to love and accept him at that level. And a funny, very funny thing happened. His life transformed. All of a sudden, I didn't mind living at home anymore, and neither did he. When we have an expectation of others from our own perspective that decides who they have to be to make us happy or to make us feel loved, we set up a whole situation that can't work. And so we have to open our mind to receive. We open our mind by changing our thinking about any given situation. We might come to church and sit back and tell ourselves, well, that's not the message I wanted to hear today. Well, open your mind to receive. There might be some really good stuff in there. The thing we want to do, especially with a difficult relationship, is to bless them. Bless them. Never criticize. Never criticize someone else, because whatever you put out does what?
Comes back to you.
Comes back to you. Whatever I put out comes back. If I'm criticizing, if I'm resentful of others, then, oh, guess what? All of that's coming back. All that energy is coming back to me. So I really want to find a way to be compassionate and kind and understanding with all other people. To begin to see each person as a gift and a blessing. And I remember many years ago, at one point in time in my life, I was married to an alcoholic, which was, slightly challenging. And after we divorced, I still found it a little difficult. If I could smell alcohol on somebody, I would kind of run and try to get away from them, expecting the worst. And after years of meditation and prayer and just trying to get my life on track, again opening my mind, I was going downtown one day and had some coins in my pocket. When I got off the bus, I noticed a gentleman staggering along the street toward me and talking to people along the way who, for the most part, would try to quickly get away from him. And when he came up to me, I thought, here's a moment where I can give a blessing. And he was looking down at the ground and he asked me for change. And so I reached in my pocket and I took his hand and I put the change in his hand. And I said, have a wonderful day. And in that moment, I felt a healing. In that moment, I felt my fear begin to disappear. I felt stronger than I'd felt in a long time. I have no idea what he felt, but for me, it was a gift and a blessing. In the moment that I blessed him, I actually blessed me. I was able to take my life back. Again, open your mind to receive. We want to begin to see the world in a new way rather than saying everything is like this or everything is like that, to realize nothing is like anything except what I've put upon it. And so if I can open my mind and expand my ideas about life and living, I can begin to see the world in a new way. And I think that's the way Jesus saw the world. I think he just came into it with an openness, with a receptivity that whoever was in front of him was also a child of God. And so there was no criticism or judgment or condemnation. He received everyone in absolutely the same way. Love. I've often said that love is the answer, it doesn't matter what the question is. And I really believe that. And it's not always easy to do because, we got stuff going on, right? Every now and again we have an in-law or an out-law who's telling us something about ourselves that we don't want to hear. But the truth is that if we can just relax into this moment and allow that divine energy within us to recognize the purpose in front of us. We have this sign, Namaskar. Spirit in me receives and sees spirit in you. And that's where we want to begin to live from. That's where we can begin to really open up our lives so that we can be a blessing into the world as well as to receive it. When we are in a situation that isn't working for us, we need to begin to say to ourselves, you know what, I'm willing to release this energy. I'm willing to release this discomfort. I'm willing to surrender into this moment that I might reveal the Christ in me, that I might be able to experience this day, this moment, and this world in a brand new way. We can begin to move away from our fear and stand instead in a place of power and possibility. Does that make sense? But we do that when we come from here rather than coming from here. And by this I mean sometimes our thinking is getting us in trouble, so we have to return to the idea of the Christ within. We have to return to the idea of our oneness. See, if we see each other as one, right? If we're all one part of some great big thing, if we're one, what I say to you, am I not saying it to me? If we're one and I love you, am I not loving me? If I condemn you, am I not condemning me? So we want to just take a look at how it is that we show up day by day and moment by moment. How are we showing up in life? And is it what is really serving us? And if it isn't, then I'll just remind you, you're the one thinking your thoughts, and so you can change them. You know how sometimes you think something because somebody made you think it? Or they made you feel something. Oh yeah, somebody made you angry. Did somebody ever make you angry? Did somebody ever make you sad? No, they didn't. You're thinking about the situation that you were in with them is what made you angry, sad, mad, glad, blah, blah, blah. Right? Because if I can make you mad, I can make you happy. And you know I can't if you're mad. A friend of mine, her sister once said to her roommate, because the roommate said, oh, you made me so angry. And she said, oh, I made you angry? Okay. I'm going to make you happy now. And the woman got really furious. But there's some things we can do to begin to change our life. And again, it's about opening the mind so we can receive a blessing. And so we open our mind to bless others and to receive the blessing. And we start with a really simple task. I'm going to give you a really simple one. You should write this down because it's so simple but so easily forgotten. Are you ready? Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Oh my gosh, we complain about everything. 2 days ago, we were complaining about the weather. 2 days before that, we were complaining about the weather. 2 days before that, probably complaining about the weather. Last summer, when it got too hot, we were complaining about the weather. And when we had the ice storm, we were complaining about, we need to stop. We need to stop complaining and start living. Stop complaining. You know, whatever you focus on expands and grows. So what if we were to stop complaining? Isn't that an easy thing to do? Super easy? How long do you think you could do it for if you started right now? Let's see, when is service over? You're probably pretty good to the end of service because you're not going to talk to anybody. Well, no, because in your mind you could be complaining about what I'm saying. I believe she actually said that. What on earth was she thinking when she came up with that? Oh my goodness, where's Reverend Evan? Bring him back. We tend to, our mind is on the go all the time, and what we've forgotten is how powerful it is, how creative it is. Our mind is the creator of our experiences. It isn't the other way around. Sometimes we think something happens, and then I get mad about it, but the truth is that things are happening all the time, and what I think about them is actually creating the emotional attachment or distress or whatever, so the experience is a result of a thought. And so when I open my mind to receive, I'm teachable. I open my mind in this moment to go, I don't know. I don't know what today is. I don't know what your day is. And if I can open my mind over and over again, I begin to see the possibility of a greater future and a greater possibility. If I open my mind and check into my thinking on a regular basis, I can see where I'm thinking negatively, where I'm complaining inside my head. I might stop complaining to y'all, but I might be doing it in here. Oh, that guy just cut me off. What a turkey. Or other expressive words, or actions. You know, sometimes we have actions, right, when people cut us off. Whatever it is that we're putting out is coming back to us, multiplied and overflowing. What is it that you want more of in your life? Love. What else?
Peace.
Peace. What else? Joy. Love, peace, joy, happiness.
Laughter.
Laughter. You know how you get all that stuff?
Give it.
Give it away, like Robin said. Give it. Be it. Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. You want peace in the world? Be that. Every day, every moment, in every situation, take a breath. You know, there was a thing when I was a little girl, my mom would say to me, I didn't really get it at the time, but it was, you know, you get mad about something, she'd say, look, stop, count to 10. Okay, I know how to count to 10 now, let me get on with what I was mad about. But the thing is, the idea of count to 10 is a great one. When you think that for a moment what it does is it causes me to reconfigure what I'm thinking. I could maybe open my mind to a bigger idea, to a different idea. I could open my mind and say, maybe I don't understand the situation exactly the way I'm perceiving it. Maybe I'm perceiving it from my history, from my belief system, from what my mama taught me or my papa taught me. Maybe I am creating this from my own experiences, my own past. Wow. That's interesting, isn't it? So we stop complaining, we stop judging, we stop criticizing. Good luck with that. Stop discussing what you don't want. Have you ever noticed how much time you spend talking about what you don't want? Oh, I don't want to be broke anymore, and your friend calls you up to go for coffee. I'm so broke. You're not broke, you're a child of God. You're whole, perfect, and complete. And you might be having a difficult experience, but it doesn't define who you are unless you define it that way. Might sit back and say, oh, I'm such an idiot. I am, can't be an idiot. I am, can't be broken. I am, two most powerful words in the English language. I am is invoking the universal energy within your life, and what follows I am is of utmost importance. And so we want to take a look at our language, and when we say things like, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm broke, we'll back it up, erase all that. I am a divine idea in the mind of God. I'm a child of God. I am one with the universe. I'm one with this infinite creative intelligence. I'm one with life and love and possibility. That feels really good. Say that. I am one with life.
I am one with life.
I am one with love.
I am one with love.
I am love.
I am love.
I am joy.
I am joy.
There's an energy created from that, so we want to look at our language. And when we stop complaining and being negative, and we stop talking about all the things that aren't working, and we begin to think about the life that we would like to create, and the love that's possible, and the peace that could be here and now, we begin to shift everything in that moment, and that's what we're being called to do. We're being called to open our minds so that we can receive the blessing that God has already bestowed upon us. You see, we don't have to give up drinking to be loved by God. We don't even have to stop complaining to be loved by God. We just need to stop complaining so we can realize we're loved by God. right? Open your mind and receive. We're living our lives in a way that's interesting, and one of the things that we can do is even look at, our sphere of influence, look at the people that we're hanging with. We come here on Sundays and we come here for classes and for events and stuff. Why do we do that? We do that to be reminded that we're okay. To be surrounded with like-minded people that are positive, interesting, fun. And if we can stop complaining long enough, we can receive all of that. But if you come here with a bad attitude, you're going to leave with what? Oh, you won't believe what that person said. We want to stop complaining. We want to stop criticizing. We want to start doing new and different things. We want to start living the life that we say we really want to have. And we're the ones who can create that. And we surround ourselves with people who are on the path that we want to be on, or the people that we aspire to be as good as or great as. We invite people who are joyful and exciting and interesting and wondrous into our lives, and we begin to spend as much time as possible with those people. Because as we do that, we feel better, right? We're lifted. We're lifted and they're lifted. There's a joy that happens as a result of that experience. And so I invite you to surround yourself with people who are fun. Think about it. Do you want to hang out with somebody who's crying all day, or do you want to hang out with somebody who's laughing and singing? Which one? Laughing, singing, or crying? Okay, so 3 of you want laughing. Okay. Expand your circle of friends. Begin to take a look at the people around you and begin to expand so that you invite in people that have interests similar to yours, that are fun like you are. Because you are, right? Okay, 2 over here. If I stay up here long enough, I could maybe get all of you to be fun and funny. You need to laugh more and play more and relax into that Christ consciousness. When I think about Jesus, who was very much a rebel, did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes. So Jesus was a rebel because he was living from a Christ consciousness in a time when priests were saying, no, you've got to do it like this. But he was living in a way that was honoring and compassionate and respectful and kind to people, and living from his own truth, redefining the Jewish faith and what that was supposed to mean, and realized that living from it was really what was being called. And so he was getting people to discover that consciousness within them, that oneness with God, and how that might change their lives. And he was a healer. But he healed through allowing you to notice that when you shifted your beliefs, the healing occurred. It is done unto you as you believe. So what is it you believe today? Are you ready today to start believing that your life could be remarkable? Are you ready today to open your mind to a place where you can be with anyone and receive a gift and a blessing? I was driving down the street the other day. Actually, it was Wednesday morning, about 2 in the morning. I was driving somebody home, and I'm driving down the street, and I stop at a red light, and this guy comes running to the window going, I'm so hungry, can you give me a little bit of money? And I said, I don't have any, but I have a half a bag of mixed nuts. He grabbed those and he went, oh my God, she gave me nuts! Ah! She was so excited, and he was jumping up and down, and he raced over to a friend, I guess, I couldn't see in the dark, and I thought, wow. All I did was give him a half a bag of nuts, and he was happy, like really, really happy. I felt so blessed in that moment. Here it is, the middle of the night, driving home from Ottawa, exhausted, tired, and he gave me energy for the rest of that drive. We receive a blessing when we open our hearts to everybody. We have to open our hearts and our minds to everybody. We have to look at the relationships in our life, the good ones, the challenging ones, the ones that are indifferent, and begin to look at them and go, wow, this is God in my life showing me something about myself. This is God in my life revealing to me who I am. This is God in my life allowing me to learn. to learn more about myself and the journey and possibility if I'm open to receive it. If I see every person as a gift, I begin to experience life as a gift. Does that make sense? Are you ready to do that in your life? Are you ready to look around at the people around you, no matter what, just to go, I love you? Can you say, I love you? That's sometimes really hard to say. I remember there's another church I speak at once in a while, and the pianist had been missing for a couple of times when I had gone there to speak. And this one Sunday I show up, and he was there. And I even surprised myself because I ran up behind him and I grabbed him from behind. I gave him a big hug and I went, oh, I love you, I missed you so much. And his face went all red and he went, thank you, I love you too. But there was a warmth in his experience because it was so honest. I really had missed him. And some of you know I can be a little huggy. I can't help myself. We're supposed to be quiet when we come into the sanctuary in the morning, and sometimes I have to almost put a lock on this to do that. I want to hug, I want to laugh, I want to be with everybody. The life that we're looking for is the life that God gave us. And it hasn't gone anywhere. It's right here. And sometimes we'll tell ourselves, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm meant to do. I don't know where I'm meant to go. I don't know what I'm meant to be. And that is baloney. You're lying to yourself. We want to tell ourselves, I am the I am. And therefore I know. And as we begin to tell ourselves, I know, as we open our mind to the possibility of knowing, what happens is ideas flutter in. And then it's up to us if we're going to act upon it or not. And sometimes we don't act on it because we go, oh yeah, I can do that. But we want to start shifting that again. We need to open our mind, but beyond opening our mind, we have to receive what comes in and then act upon it. Our life begins to change and we receive the blessing, all the gifts and things when we begin to take action. Treat and move your feet. Prayer treatment is about opening the mind and seeing a new reality. And as we begin to open our minds and expand our circle, we begin to create something that's really remarkable. But we've got to move our feet. We've got to take action. God in us is giving us information and showing us the way and telling us who we are. And then we're going, no, thank you. We have to say yes. We have to receive it all. We have to receive the things that come to us. And then through our wisdom, through our mind, we can look at it and go, okay, here's the piece I'm going to do. And begin to focus our energy so that we can move forward in that area, so that we can create that thing. All of us are created in the image and of the likeness of God. All of us. Not some of us. All of us. You are as valuable as the President of the United States of America. You are as valuable, as precious, as essential to the unfolding of this universe and our planet as the Dalai Lama. You are as valuable, as important, as sacred as the Reverend Devin Reed. You are truly a divine idea in the mind of God, and to begin to see yourself that way is to fully love yourself. And as you love yourself fully and completely, you become able to love that which is around you. And as you love that which is around you, an odd thing will happen. It will start to love you back. We must open our mind. We must see the world in a new way. We must begin to look at life from a new perspective. We need to look at all the mistakes we've made. Has anyone here ever made a mistake? I've made zillions. I can't even count them all. But here's what I know, is all of that brought me here. I remember in school, when I was studying for ministry, I don't know why we were asked to do this, but we were asked what our favorite story was as a child. And I had to really ponder that for a while because I read voraciously, but to think of just one. And then it landed for me, and I just found this about a week ago as I was going through papers. I found this essay that I wrote about Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I thought, A Christmas Carol? Why on earth did I think that? And I realized that for the majority of my life at that point, I had lived as Scrooge. Truly and completely. Angry. Holding back. Wouldn't give nothing to nobody. Expecting everything coming to me. And that story, every time I read it, it would bring me to tears. And I thought, what is that all about anyway? And it was about the possibility, the hope of a different reality. The hope that something could be different, that something could change. The belief that it was possible, even for me, that somehow I could get on the other side of the rage, the anger, the frustration, and reveal this generous, loving spirit. Like somehow that could happen. And when I read that just 2 weeks ago, I wrote, cool. It was a transformative moment. Because I didn't know why that story touched me so deeply. Well, I guess I did know, but I wasn't consciously aware of it. And as I read that, I realized something. That often the things that really bring us to tears, the things that move us differently, it's because it's showing us that there is hope. It is possible, even for me. Even for me, the person who made so many mistakes, who did like really bad stuff. Even for me, there was hope of a better tomorrow. And most of us haven't done all that bad stuff. You know, I'm kind of the worst of the, well, not quite the worst of the worst, but close. But you all are pretty good. You just have little somethings that you've done that you're going, yeah. Right? At least that's all you told me is about the little something. But here's the thing, when you begin to open your mind and go, no, I'm a child of God, that like the prodigal son, I can go away, I can mess up, I can waste it all, I can come back, and God will say, here, welcome. And throw a big party for me, and welcome me, and bring me in. It's like, you think that's not there for us? Of course it is. Of course it's there for us. So we begin to look at life new. When we open our mind, we receive the blessing and all of the blessings, not a little bit, not a little piece. You know, there's enough to go around. There's enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. Do you realize we could feed every person on the planet if we just shared food? Because there's a lot that goes to waste every day. I can't imagine the restaurants here in Toronto, how many people could be fed just by what they toss at the end of the night. Probably feed another 3 or 4 cities. We want to begin to reframe things. Begin to live from that place of possibility. Begin to live from your Christ consciousness. Begin to awaken to the divine that's within you. Awaken to the gift that God gave you. You know, when you came into this life, it wasn't by accident. Really, it wasn't. It was by divine appointment. And who you are and what you do and what you bring also by divine appointment. So it's time to see yourself in a brand new way. Begin to see life in a new way. So sometimes people have an opinion about us. Anybody ever say you're whatever? Anybody ever call you out, call you down, call you bad names? Oh man. And you know what? We hear it and our feelings get hurt, or maybe we get mad and we call them a name back, and the battle's on. No, you're this. No, you're that. Remember as little kids we used to do that? No, you're stupid. No, you're ugly. Well, you're dumb. Well, and we go back and forth. Did you know that what other people think of you is none of your business? None of your business. Because what they think about you comes from their understanding of life and has nothing to do with the reality of you. What people think of you is not your business. I remember seeing a wonderful interview on Oprah years ago with Meg Ryan. And she told Oprah that she never read any reviews, good, bad, or indifferent. And Oprah's like, wow, that's actually a really good idea. And she said, well, I don't, because if the review is really, really good, then the next time I go into a production, I'm going to try to live up to that. And I can't really be with the role. But if it's really bad, like, I'm going to cry. So I don't really want to know. And Oprah just looked at her and went, oh, you're smart. What a wise thing. I wish I could do that. We listen to other people's opinions. I was talking with someone the other day, and we shared the idea that you could be in a room with 1,000 people, and 999 of them could come up to you and go, wow, you are remarkable. What a great song, or what a great singer, what a great pianist. And one person could go, you know, that note was off. Who are you listening to? Who are you listening to, Robin? Right?
You can't please all the people all the time.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. I don't care who you are. So you have to sit back and just get okay with who you are. What was that song at the beginning? I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. Listen to that. Sing that song over and over when you want to, listen to the one person who thought you did something wrong. Right? When you want to hear the one bad comment about you. Or if somebody says something good to you and you go, oh, well, they must be talking about somebody else. Or they're trying to butter me up. We do this stuff. We need to open our mind to receive, which means we must give and receive the blessing in every moment. When someone difficult is in your life, love them and bless them. Take time to be with them. When someone in your life is blessing you and loving you, open your arms and receive it. Allow it to come in. Yes. Recognize that you are the Christ. That's what you are. You are this divine Christ. You are the one. And you've been brought into this life to create something on the planet that only you can create. You bring to this world only something you can bring. No one else can bring it. So bring it. Let that little light of yours shine. How many of you have hidden it under a bushel? We sing this song, this little light of mine, but we're not listening to the words, are we? We're going, oh, that's a great little song for little kids. It's lovely. No. That's a message for you. That's a message for you to stand up and be seen, be felt, be heard, be noticed, be realized for what it is you bring. Because you bring something to this planet that is absolutely essential at this point in time. And no one else can bring it the way you do. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you are the Christ. You bring the gift. The more you can know yourself, the more you can be willing to open your heart to love others, the more you can stand in who you are without worrying about what everybody else thinks about you, the stronger you become, the more creative you become, the more loving you are. And the world begins to change. You see, if we loved enough, life would be really great. Don't you think? Yeah. I mean, imagine for a moment that tomorrow morning, everybody woke up and stretched and went, I feel good. Everybody. For just a minute. Maybe 5. There would be a shift in the energy of the planet. Because for that moment, there wouldn't be a gunshot. There wouldn't be swear words kicked out. There wouldn't be hurt, condemnation. For that moment, there'd be the possibility of peace. See, peace is a state of mind. It already exists. Right? 'Cause sometimes we talk about we need to create peace. No, peace exists. It's an attribute of the one. Peace is already here. It's just I'm choosing to ignore it. Are you choosing to ignore it? Or are you choosing to embrace it? We are here by divine appointment. And the way we grow and expand and create is by recognizing who we are, recognizing the gifts that we bring, recognizing that everybody that's at this party with me, all God. Everyone. When I begin to see you in that way, you begin to show up in that way. Have you ever noticed that? When you smile at somebody, they can be kind of whatever, and you smile at them and then you smile or squeal. They just love it. The little kids are so great because they just do whatever they feel in the moment. They squeal, they laugh, they sing, they yell at you, they kiss you, they smack you. I mean, they're like fully present. You know, today I love you, and the next second, don't like you, and then I love you again. And they're quick. They just go with whatever, and they don't attach themselves to anything. They don't hold on to the past. They don't hold on to an old memory. In each moment, they're brand new. And that's what we're being called to. Remember the story of Lot and his wife? You saw what happened to her. Well, you didn't see it. You maybe read about it. Maybe you heard about it. When we're back there, we're crystallized. We can't do anything. We've got to be present. We've got to be present. Present with each other. Present with the situation. Present with life. Present with possibility. Present with love. And when we do that, there's a whole shift that occurs that's really kind of cool. We laugh more, we sing more, we experience more joy, more excitement, more delight. We complain less. You know, the reason we complain so much, we've got nothing to talk about, because we're not creating. Start creating. You will have lots to talk about. Complaining is a past thing, right? Oh, you won't believe what happened to me last week, last month, last year. Rather than going, wow, in this moment. I had a wonderful experience on Tuesday when I was in Ottawa. I ran into an old friend that I hadn't seen in over a year. And I'm lucky my husband knows me well, because he might wonder the way I hug some men sometimes. But I hadn't seen this fellow in a while, and he was one of the presenters at the conference that I was at. And when I saw him, it was like, oh my God! And I ran up and gave him the biggest hug and just held on and went, oh, I missed you so much. And he's doing the same thing. Oh, I love you. I missed you so much. I mean, people would have thought we were like, I don't know, long lost brother and sister, or who knows. But the truth is that we really like each other. And we were so glad to see each other because it was the last place on earth that we expected to see one another. We were in Ottawa at a conference. And he lives, I don't know, in a B word, Burlington, or I can't get the B's straight in Ontario. But anyway, one of the B's, went Brampton or Burlington or somewhere, and I live in Toronto, but we met in Ottawa, out of the blue. And it was so fun. It was so fun to just go, oh my gosh, how are you, and how have you been? And the only reason I knew he was there is he had presented the day before, and everybody was raving about his story, and I went, what, Orlando's here? Oh my gosh, where? I have cataracts, I can't see y'all. So I couldn't see him, somebody had to point him out. I'm like, oh, there he is, okay. I couldn't run up to a complete stranger, that would have been embarrassing. But it would have been okay, because I've done that before. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone to a place where you thought you knew somebody, and you went up and you were like ultra friendly and giving them a hug, and all of a sudden you realized that is not the person I thought that was? And you have in that moment the opportunity to like just be so embarrassed, or to go, I just gave some love, whatever, they can take it however they choose, right? Life is what you make of it. So what are you making of it? Are you ready to stop complaining, judging, criticizing yourself and others, and begin to open up to the possibility that God brought whoever's in your life in there by divine appointment? That it is up to you to bless them or to receive a blessing from them. that whatever it is you choose to bring, whatever you choose to give, it's up to you. Nobody said you have to show up in a certain way. You could just be love all the time. You could just be joy all the time. You can just hug everybody. You'll freak them out, but it's, share the love. We went downtown one time, a group of us from my previous church, and we, had big signs that said free hugs. And we were hugging all these strangers. We were at Glendale Square there. And lots of people walking by. And some of them would do this. And then others, and the ones you wouldn't expect, the kid who's all pierced and got weird hair, and they come running up and grab you, just about knock you over and give you the biggest hug ever. It was so cool. Or couples looking at you questioningly, and we'd say, hey, hug each other. That's just as good. And it was so fun, because we need more love in the world. We need more love. I think if there's an answer to anything, it is love more. Laugh often, and show up as who you are, not who you think people expect you to be. Be yourself, because you are divine. So there's a little song I really like that some of you know. And can I remember it? I probably can't. The song I like to sing. I can't remember it, so I'm not going to sing for you. Hallelujah! Praise the Lord! Are you excited? I can't sing. It's so good. Actually, I do remember it now. I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. I love myself so much that I could love you so much, that you could love you so much, that you could start loving me. Have a great day. Namaste. Namaste.